Coming into prime time, man, this is not exactly how we wanted to open the preview, but have to because it is breaking news that JuJu Smith-Schuster will indeed have shoulder surgery and will be out for the remainder of the season, or is at least expected to be out the remainder of the season. And think of JuJu however you want, his TikTok, his off-field shenanigans, whatever.
His social media presence.
Or even
whatever.
Or even his play on the field. Or expectations on the field. Think of him how you want. This is a tough loss for the offense. And for Ben Roethlisberger. Because he has been the security blanket for a few years now for Ben. He has been our most dependable third down target. And losing him is for sure a loss for this offense.
It is. He never performed like a number one.
Like expectations were given after, the AB trade. But
we can't deny he was so dependable.
He was dependable and
he was so reliable.
And you got to love his charisma in the locker room and with Steeler Nation. Even after all the criticisms, man, he came back for less. He could have easily went to the Chiefs or the Ravens for more, but came back this year for less to remain with Ben. And I feel so bad for JuJu that he went out with a shoulder injury almost halfway through the season in a contract year. I feel for JuJu.
I do. We really do.
And I don't know if he has played his last down in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this could very well be another Bud Dupree scenario where their careers in Pittsburgh end via season-ending injuries.
And, I've said in the past I'd gladly bring Washington back over JuJu, and a part of me still thinks that, and that could very well be
the case.
That could still remain my feelings after James Washington this season because he will be the next man up. He will have to step in to that role for JuJu, which, Washington's depth this year was very important. And I know that's crazy saying that when it comes to wide receivers with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Washington's depth was very important coming into this year, and it's being shown already, not even midway to the season.
Yeah,
and he's going to have to step in, going to be that reliable target because he is still a very reliable, dependable target. Strong hands, very much like JuJu, tough player, a great deep threat. So I have full faith in James Washington to step up, and I hope he runs with it. And I think he does. And that's going to lead to a hell of a decision. Do the Steelers bring back Washington or JuJu? But that's for preseason or
off-season
talk. Preseason,
but nonetheless, losing JuJu is going to suck. Ben's security blanket is gone for the remainder of the season. But think of him how you will, but you can't deny he's a good football player, a dependable football player, and much respect to JuJu for what he's been able to deal with, what he's been able to sustain off the field and even on the field. And still stuck with his team through thick and thin. Still stuck with his quarterback.
Exactly. And that's the embodiment of a Pittsburgh Steeler, man.
And it sucks that he won't be playing for the rest of the season. And this could very well be the end of JuJu Smith-Schuster in the black and gold. But
which, obviously, a part of us thinks we hope not. But we'll see what Washington does when he steps in. But I feel for JuJu, man.
Yeah, hoping for a speedy recovery, man.
Absolutely. So prayers to JuJu. And
just next man up.
Yeah, really.
Next man up and see who can really step up.
But anyway, guys, let's hit the intro and we'll get into the Seahawks and Steelers Sunday Night Football primetime preview. The Seattle Seahawks. Gotta say, man, the Seahawks are in a bit of a bubble right now.
A bit.
Because they are 2-3, looking at 2-4 possibly. They have arguably the worst defense in the league, damn near last in every category. And this Sunday, for prime time, as they travel to Heinz Field, they'll be without their MVP caliber quarterback, Russell Wilson, for the first time since his rookie season. Russell Wilson has started every single game since coming into the league back in 2012. And this will be his first time he will miss a game. That is nuts.
It's crazy.
That will be a massive difference maker for this game for the Seahawks versus Steelers Sunday Night Football at Heinz Field, man.
And the guy that we will be going up against at quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks is none other than Geno Smith.
Geno Smith, who hasn't started a game since December of 2017.
He's actually the guy that stepped in for the New York Giants that ended Eli Manning's consecutive starts streak with 210, I believe.
I believe you are correct, which is crazy. This man is getting his first start since December of 2017.
And it's prime time.
It's prime time, and he has to travel to Pittsburgh, halfway across the fucking country. But I'm not going to underestimate Geno Smith because, yeah, it may be his first start since 2017, but he's been around the league pretty often. The Jets, the Chargers, the Giants, now the Seahawks. He's been around the league, and he's been under Pete Carroll for the last, I want to say, 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. And when he stepped in for Russell Wilson Thursday night against the Los Angeles Rams, he actually did pretty solid. He actually drove him on his first possession, 98 yards all the way for a touchdown to DK Metcalf.
I must say, Geno was cooking.
He looked solid. He did.
And for a moment, it looked like he was going to lead the Seahawks back against the divisional rival Rams until Tyler Lockett channeled in his inner Dre Archer and tripped on his own route. And it was picked off.
But still, nonetheless, we're not going to underestimate Geno Smith because knowing our luck, we usually play down to subpar/backup quarterbacks, at least maybe once or twice a year. This could very well be another case.
You are very correct. And again, he's been around the league. He's been under Pete Carroll. And the thing with Pete Carroll, he is a very winning head coach. He is still at his age and at this stage of his career, still one of the best in the league.
Oh, no doubt.
Ever since he entered Seattle, he's transformed that team, man. He turned around the defense and brought the team to a Super Bowl victory and back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. They haven't made it back since 2014, but still he's kept them within contention.
Yeah.
And, yeah, this may be his first game without Russell Wilson in a long time, that's going to be a difference maker. That's very different for the offense and for Pete Carroll and the Seahawks in general.
Yeah.
So that alone is going to be something that the Steelers got to take advantage of, but also not underestimate.
No, definitely not. The Seahawks offense, Geno Smith will be at quarterback, like we stated, but they still got weapons that he can give the ball to. At running back, he's got Chris Carson. That is dealing with an injury right now, but he may be available, he may not be available. If he's not, they still got talented backs that can fill in, like Alex Collins, DJ Dallas, Travis Homer.
I mean, they've always been able to breed solid depth guys at running back.
Yeah.
Especially the past 10 years, it's crazy. Not going to underestimate the running attack for sure. That part of our defense has to continue to step up. And, of course, the passing game. I mean, they mainly have two targets, and that's kind of all you need when you have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Yeah, those guys speak for themselves. Those guys are arguably the best wide receiver duo in the league today.
Arguably.
Like, those guys just stand out. Those guys are just hard to cover. And it's going to be a true test for our secondary.
And hopefully we get Cameron Sutton back from a groin injury this week. That will be big unless, if not, James Pierre will get the nod again. But hopefully we do get Sutton back to pair alongside Hayden and try to limit that passing game. As for this defense, man, they got to attack the offensive line, which is still here and there at times. Man, that Seahawks offensive line has been mediocre for so many years now. It's been the weakness of their offense, and it still is. And that's where our pass rush has to show up in this game. It's been quiet the last few weeks. Now they have to come into prime time and make a big showing and try to cause pressure on Geno Smith.
And get some turnovers, get some sacks. Just do what you can to benefit the Steelers' offense, really.
Which they're facing, again, probably the worst defense in the league.
At least when it's all said and done after this year, they could very well go down statistically and total yardage-wise as the worst defense probably of all time.
It's crazy because they are so far behind their golden years.
I mean, I can't name you many great players they have on that defense outside of maybe 2 or 3. And that's Bobby Wagner, Diggs, what's his name?
Quadre Diggs.
Yeah, Quadre Diggs. And maybe Jamal Adams, but he's not a cover guy.
No, he is a liability in coverage. To think the Seahawks traded 2 first-rounders for this guy while we traded only 1 first-rounder for Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Talk about steal.
A major steal.
Talk about steal, man.
Talk about overpay for sure when it comes to the Seahawks because Adams is a liability in coverage. He can't really play the deep ball. He's more so of a box safety. Let's be real. He's really a linebacker because he's great in the box. He can stop the run. He's great when covering the backs and flats. And his strong suit is obviously blitzing. I mean, he just set a record last year for most sacks by a defensive back almost 10 last year.
Right.
This guy is a crazy blitzer, and that's something that,
that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on.
This offensive line is going to have to continue to step up in pass protection, and especially, the running backs. We're going to drop them in pass protection, guys like Najee and Snell for sure. They're going to have to, for sure, step up and help Ben in pass protection, give them time. But the main way to win this game offensively is for sure running the ball.
Yeah, because the Seahawks' run defense specifically is the worst in the league. It's bad.
It is definitely the worst in the league. Maybe not statistically right now, but it is the worst.
They can't stop the run to save their life at all.
They can't stop a nosebleed. And we're just coming off the best offensive rushing performance in a long time. Continue to feed Najee.
The offense has stepped up big time week by week. Najee's getting better every week because the line's getting better. That's the main key to this game for the Steelers offense is run the ball effectively, establish that rushing game. Run the ball down the Seahawks' throats. You want to win the game, that's how you do it.
It's simple as that. You run the ball.
That's how you do it.
You feed Najee.
Najee's coming off a big game. And the thing about this offense, they have to maintain consistency.
You're right.
That's always been their biggest roadblock. Pretty much the Steelers overall. But mainly on the offense is consistency. You have to be consistent, give Najee the ball, run the ball effectively. You want to win this game? That's exactly how you do it.
Yes. And in the passing game, don't shy away from the passing game. Of course, we want to run the ball more than we pass it like we did last week, but the passing game can definitely be effective because that Seahawks secondary is garbage. I mean, I don't even know who their number one corner is. Is it Reed or is it Jones? It don't matter because they're both not number ones.
No, they're not.
Like, they are lacking in the secondary. And, yeah, JuJu's out for the year, which sucks. Hopefully we get Washington back this week. He'll step in for sure. But Johnson will be back, obviously. And, he can be an elite guy with his separation. And, he hasn't dropped a pass all year yet. And the guy's a tremendous yak monster, as is Chase Claypool, coming off a great performance in himself. He'll be seen a lot in the slot with JuJu's absence. And that's a mismatch.
It is.
With his height, his speed, his yak ability, and we can finally start tossing up the middle with this guy. And with JuJu out, I want to see a little more of Pat Freiermuth as well. We've been begging for the Steelers to get Freiermuth involved.
And the thing that JuJu was so credible for and with that he had in his play style on the field was dependability. Now that that's gone, we can use Freiermuth in that because Freiermuth is a very dependable tight end when you give him the ball.
Even in a small sample.
I mean, look at last week. There was like 2 third down plays that needed to be converted, and Freiermuth was able to get those first downs. And one of those plays actually led to a touchdown.
Yes. So let's see a little more Freiermuth in this game.
Get those guys involved.
Like, honestly, for this offense, man, the main goal is definitely run the ball. Like, just feed Najee. As for the passing game, man, just spread the ball like you did last week. Get some pre-snap motion involved. Let's see some play action.
Attack the middle. Don't turn over the ball. Offensive line block. You've been doing very well lately. Let's see if you have consistency.
Exactly. We need to see some consistency from this offense. But the main goal for sure is definitely feeding Najee. You have to run the ball.
Yep. Simple as that.
And as for the defense, man, just pressure Geno. Stop the run. I'm not going to underestimate Geno Smith. This is his first start in 4 years, but that might not be a negative thing because he's grown. And he's been under Carroll, and Carroll's a great coach. It's going to be different for Carroll and for the Seahawks offense, but I'm not going to underestimate it, especially since it's in prime time and the Seahawks are still a hell of a team, even with their negatives.
Yeah, they're still a competitive team, and this will be a competitive game in prime time.
Yes, and I know we said it on Twitter that I don't see the Seahawks going 2-4. That was before we knew of Russell Wilson's injury. But even still, I mean, it's Pete Carroll. He's only went 2-4 under the Seahawks once. And with that division that they're in, they're definitely going to come into Pittsburgh fighting for a victory.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to underestimate the Seahawks, even though they have a lot of negatives, a lot of injuries for sure. But it's going to be a good game, man. The Seahawks and Steelers always play each other tough. Always.
Every time.
But, the Steelers, man, they're trying to increase to 3-3 before the bye.
And considering how we started, I mean, 3-3 doesn't look half bad.
No, under all the circumstances, the injuries, the poor start, or the
Yeah, the poor start, a terrible start
Right.
to the season.
You know, it would be a solid way to go into the bye.
It would be.
So, honestly, looking at the aspects, I'm not going to underestimate the Seahawks, but this should be a win. We can easily win this game.
Easily. We just got to see if we're consistent.
Here we go, Steelers, though. Let's know you guys' thoughts down below, man. Let's get this win in primetime in Pittsburgh. Advance to 3-3, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fun. It should be a really good primetime game, but we can get this win, man. Here we go, Steelers.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!